All right, we are live. Hello, hello. We're going to give everybody a second to get on here.
Okay.
I know there's a little bit of a delay, like a 5-10 second delay. So we're going to give everybody a chance to get on. It is Thursday night, and that means it's time for a mom on a mission. My name is Jessie from WildJessie.com or from Wild Jessie Consulting. Oops, sorry, there we go. We're back. We're up from Wild Jessie Consulting. And every Thursday night, I come on either by myself or with an amazing guest, where I get to talk to you about issues that moms are dealing with, questions that sometimes we have. And I am very excited because I've got Letisa Moore with me, and guys, I'm so excited, so excited. But we're gonna start out first, like we do every Thursday, while we're waiting for everybody, with positives. So, Letisa, why don't you start us off with what's a positive that happened to you either today or this week?
I think just basically getting on this show. This has been a positive thing. I also was a part of a grantee banquet today, so that was an awesome thing as well. Being able to share about the program Door of Hope.
That's awesome. Yeah, you were telling me that because you got like you're a new grantee acceptor. Is that right? Like kind of. And
Well,
so, yeah.
we were first people that engaged in the grant program for Door of Hope.
That is awesome. I'm so excited for you guys. So that's
Yeah.
great. If you guys end up jumping on with us, go ahead and do hashtag live if you're here live, so that we know that you're here in the room with us. Or you can do hashtag replay if you're catching the replay. Right now we're doing positives. So if you got a positive, feel free to put it down. My positive today is first having you on, because I'm seriously super excited. I was trying to get you before, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna scare her off. But and then this week would be yeah, I don't know. It's been really, really crazy. We've had a lot of like medical stuff going on in our household right now. And nobody was in the ER today. So that was a plus. It's kind of been like a regular stop for us right now. So that's my positive. Yeah, if you guys have a positive, again, please feel free to put it on hashtag live if you're live, hashtag replay if you're in the replay. Again, I am super excited. I've got Letisa here. I am a big fan. I love you. So, and you are a mother, a licensed clinical social worker, and the founder of Door of Hope, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about Door of Hope?
Well, once again, I'm a single parent. I raised my child pretty much alone. He is an adult now. He will be 28 on Sunday, so I'm excited. Yeah. So I'll get to go to Grand Rapids and have a good time with him. Hopefully, we can get in on some Craig's Cruiser or something. I don't know. I'm excited. That stuff just gets me like, yes, I can, shoot something up or do something, play some skee ball.
Right? Oh yeah. Well, and
I don't know what he's gonna choose. Look, it's not my birthday, but it's his. So hopefully he chooses something fun,
I hear they're just as much work when they're older as they are when they're young.
Oh, he's actually a really well-mannered kid. So it's a delight to see him and and the things that he's doing in the community, and he's just well-mannered. So I enjoy that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us about Door of Hope. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Cindy. We got a bunch of people. We got a few people in the room. So hello. Make sure to let us know if you're in here. You can do hashtag live if you're here live. We're super excited to have you here. We're talking to Lakeisha from Door of Hope. So go ahead and tell us about Door of Hope, because I am in love with this program.
Oh, well, thank you, Jessie. Well, Door of Hope, our mission really is empowering women by fostering hope and restoring lives, also promoting family values. My desire for Door of Hope really in this community is to work with women between the ages of 18 to 26 who have a child or children under 5 years old. And it's really to help them to it's reducing barriers to success. And so that's basically one of the biggest things, reducing barriers that contribute to whether it was homelessness or individuals being able to get an education or get involved in a career. And so we want to be that organization to be able to do that and to assist.
And this started because you were a young single mom.
Yeah.
You said about 18.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
actually had my son when I was 19. My first one, my first of 5. And it was not easy. Everybody
No.
just kind of expects you, like once you have this baby, all this knowledge is supposed to just pour onto you. And it's just not like that.
No. I had my son. I was 18 years old, but I also was responsible for other people's responsibilities. So I was also in the care of 2 brothers, and basically pregnant. And then I had my child, and at some point decided before I had him that I wanted a different life than what I had, grew up in. And so once I found out I was pregnant, I enrolled in college. And so that begins the journey. So that began the journey with having a child at the age of 18. And I also moved from Muskegon. So Muskegon, I'm born and raised here, but I also began to move. So I moved to Grand Rapids. But in that, you lose the support system that you have in your hometown, of course. And so childcare was an issue while I was in college. And I didn't have a lot of friends that were in that college town that I was living in. So I really initially had a lot of issues with finding childcare. And so just wanting to see women, reduce those barriers for real, because it is real when you can't find a babysitter or someone doesn't want to keep their child. And so
well, and I was 19 when I had my first one, and we moved right when I first had him. We moved to North Carolina. We were told he couldn't travel till he was at least 2 weeks old. And on day 14, we packed up the car and we drove to North Carolina for a job that he had. And we got there, and it ended up the job wasn't there. So we were stuck. No job for him. New kid, and it was crazy. And again, it's just like you're just expected to have all this knowledge. You leave your support system behind you, and like you're supposed to, like, you are now at least number 2 in your life forever. And like nobody tells you that. I tell my kids that all the time. Like I tell, that's our sex talk at home. And I'm like, okay, hey, when you're ready to be number 2 forever, at least, like you go ahead. Cause I tell them, I'm like, I'm going to be an amazing grandma someday, but I'm not going to be mom again. Okay. It's not happening.
Anything about you is over.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like
the child. And
yep, you done all those, like you enjoy nice quiet baths, you enjoy peeing alone, like you want to have your bedtime to yourself, like all of that out the window. Good, gone. I can't. It's been 13, almost 14 years since I was able to like shower without being asked where something was.
Okay, yeah, and it's like, oh, I need a coat. Well, nope, my baby need a coat, need shoes, need this. You have to think about that later. So yeah, definitely.
I can't even tell you the last time I had my nails done. No, it's like I'm a mess. Okay, somebody, like, you just gotta look. All right. So when you do Doors of Hope, one of the ways you do this is by doing actually like classes, and that's what you're doing right now. You're hosting kind of workshops every Saturday that go on, and they're going on in town where we are in West Michigan and Muskegon.
Yes,
and you go over like life skills.
Yes, we do the typical life skills, which is, finances, resume building and things like that. But I also have a twist as we talk about mental health. We've talked about emotional intelligence and emotional readiness. I've also talked about, barriers. We're talking about this week managing unmanageable emotions. And we'll talk about, so that'll be anxiety and anger. So we've just really tried to add some emotional, because I think being emotionally healthy is important. We, as parents can just keep going, lose ourselves in the day to day and all of that, experiencing a lot of things that we may not, headaches and stomach aches and all these different things, but really sometimes it's tied to mental health. And so, and your wellness. And so, just really wanted to put that in. But I also feel as though it's a way to be successful, well-rounded as a person, that is, whether you're going to school, whether you're working on your financial, career, as far as a career, or even your own personal goals. There, you have to have, health and mental health for real. It's important.
That's one of the things we actually want to talk about tonight, which is anxiety and coping with it as a new mom. So let's get into it. So when you have a mom that comes to you and they have I had a lot of anxiety when I was a kid, or when I first had him. And I remember there was a program that I ended up doing that was like, they were nurses that would come to your house and help you, like teach you. They helped me with like meal planning, and they went over some of that, but they didn't go as much of the mental health. And I absolutely love that you do that, because I think it's a sorely missed thing that is so important, because all of us go through it. And I think by not addressing it, it kind of puts that like stigma that it's not normal. And I tell every mom, I'm like, if you don't get to like the third day, which is like usually like the day, or like the second day you've brought them home, or the first day you've brought them home, and you've had no sleep, you have a baby that probably is not latching yet. If you have not literally thought to yourself, can I bring it back? What have I done? What did I do? Like, then man, kudos to you, because that happened to me almost every time. Like, that moment of what did I do? And so I love that you're doing it, but anxiety is one of the things that you talked about. So if mom comes to you and they're struggling with anxiety, what are things that you go to them with or talk to them about?
Well, I think the biggest thing is even recognizing, like, what is it? How does it present in you? Because anxiety can be presented in various ways in different people. And so one is like, how do you respond? I think for me, I've experienced anxiety, and I've also had a long history of depression, just significantly in my adolescent years, even into my adult years. And so one is in understanding what it's caused by. And so anxiety can come about by just being stressed out from work or school or taking care of children. I mean, even personal relationships, also due to trauma. COVID has really increased anxiety in a lot of different people, because we don't even know how to even know what to do, in a sense, even for myself. So, I mean, I'm a counselor, and I still, it's every week trying to figure, okay, or every month trying to come up with something different. If you're dealing with financial, concerns, like where am I gonna get the money to pay for Pampers, or pay for the school needs, or school clothes, or paying the rent and paying the childcare provider, if that's still something that people are doing. So those are things that can increase anxiety. Sometimes there are side effects from medications that can cause anxiety too. Also substance use that can create anxiety. And nowadays, sneezing and coughing in public, you just might full blown no. I remember when it first came up, I was in a store, and it was like, I know I do not have to sneeze right now. I've been dealing with allergies, but I did not want to sneeze in that line. I mean, it just
you're like,
right. It was just like,
I know when I had anxiety so bad after I had my son. I was already like an anxious person. I had my son, and it might have been partially being so young, and again, like leaving your support system and everything. And they ended up saying that I had postpartum, and like it was bad. I was like it was bad. My biggest thing was like at night, I wouldn't go near windows or doors. And
Okay.
I was like scared of the world. Like I was just anything that was going to be able to happen to my kid was going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all logic like leaves the window when you're in that state, you know, like
Yeah.
everything that you're worrying about is like so real to you.
Intensified. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the next morning I would be like, man, I'm crazy.
Oh, wow. And that stuff is real. It's
Yeah.
real in the moment. It is.
Mm-hmm. And I ended up, I ended up having to go on medication for it, and getting help for it because it was that bad. But man, being like 19 and realizing, oh man, this is like thinking that all this stuff is wrong with me. You know, you're like, they're going to take my kid away.
Okay.
You know, and that's a big thing with anxiety is, you know, trying like a lot of, I think, especially young moms are scared to reach out for help because they're afraid they're going to take my baby away. They're going to think that I'm not capable. I'm not able to take care of my kids. So I think a lot of them fear that. So like, what would you say to like a mom that has those concerns?
I think so. Here's where we have to look at thoughts and all of that. I think being aware that if it gets to the place where it seems where it's just irrational thinking is really reaching out, connecting with someone, but trying to, you know, engage and have a support system. Hopefully that there's somebody around that can recognize when you're not, you know, maybe when you're not doing okay, to kind of sit down, have a conversation with you. Breathing, taking the time out, breathing could also be something that a person can do to calm themselves down. But like I said, what a concern, I guess, would be for me is if the thoughts were irrational, just to the place where it was extreme. And then I will always say, seek some type of counseling. And I think sometimes people don't want to seek counseling because they feel like, you know, then I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I've sought counseling. Like, there's nothing wrong with talking with someone. And then another thing is maybe not having the support system that would understand what is going on. I think when we're around our friends and our peers, they don't always see that something is amiss or something is going on. You know, they may think it's normal, but being open to talk with someone else about it. So I can talk just a little bit about like some of the symptoms of anxiety, just so that people can maybe, if they're even experiencing some of that, so they can recognize some of the symptoms.
Well, and I want to go to some of the comments here because we've got some really good ones. Jeanette was talking about when I had my first baby, everyone was talking about the baby blues. So they asked me about the symptoms such as disconnecting from the baby or wanting to hurt yourself. But my issue was what they now call the baby pinks, which I haven't heard of. But this is,
I haven't heard of that.
She says I loved my child so much that I couldn't sleep. I was terrified that the baby would suffocate in her bed. I had panic attacks at stop signs because I was scared another car would hit us, and it didn't make sense. Like that was me. That was me. I've never heard it called the baby pink.
I haven't heard that one yet. Yeah.
But that's neat. And then Lacey, hello. Hi, Michelle. I see you're in here too. Hi, girls or ladies. And Michelle said she used to have anxiety attacks when she was in her 20s and 30s. I think some of that too is just when you're in that younger age, you're still just like, you're still developing, you know, you're still like, you're a young adult. You're not like an adult yet. You know, you're still learning. I mean, I'm in my 30s. I'm still learning, you know?
Yeah. I think and as a young person, we're learning. There are some real concerns. You know, there's just like how I'm gonna be as a mother. What am I going to do? Are they going? You know, do they love me? I mean, sometimes we don't even know how our infants may communicate. So even learning how your child communicates as an infant. So all of those things are valid, worries and concerns.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then when you were going to, so that ties right into mental health. So that would be like mental health would be, go ahead. Take it away. Like
What,
depression.
what do you, well, I wanted to just kind of talk about some of the symptoms about, so I mean, all of this is, is mental health.
Yeah.
It's really kind of talking about some of the symptoms about anxiety so that maybe people can recognize what they are, because it's not always panic attacks. That is significant, but it's not always panic. It can be something simple as, I mean, um, nervousness or feeling restless, being tense across your shoulders and your body. It could also be just these times or periods where you might have rapid breathing. And so just kind of wanted to share some of that, so that if there's somebody that's experiencing that, they could potentially reach out or even recognize. Sometimes it's stomach aches.
Yeah.
Might even have a lot of gastrointestinal problems, also wanting to avoid certain things. And so there could be some triggers, weakness, not feeling up to yourself, increased sweating. I mean, I've had people say, hey, they get somewhere and then they get so hot, and all of that. Also irritability. That's a part sometimes of experiencing anger and or short temper. So just kind of wanting to um, share some of those tips as it relates to anxiety.
I know I would do that. I would like lash out. I would get angry when I would get super anxious or I felt like I was losing control of the situation.
Mm,
Instead of going into like a worried state, I would like lash out. And I love what you were saying about trauma, because anybody who's been following along with me knows that I I just did a live on trauma because I've been really learning a lot more about that. And I think like even schools are trying to implement some like trauma courses for their teachers. I mean, like they don't have enough to do, but like it helps them to be able to like understand a little bit more where
yeah,
maybe they can understand why that kid's reacting that way, and
right.
more effective ways to talk to them and kind of like deal with them. And I mean, trauma is a big factor,
Right.
and
It's
especially
why.
when we don't process it even, or when we don't recognize it or like try to go through our trauma, we just try to push it to the side. You'll
Mm-hmm.
see your anxieties, your depression,
Right.
all of that builds up like big time.
Yeah, it does. It does, and it even affects your body, and that's where it talks about these different symptoms. It can just be in your body, like your body remembers what goes on, even if you're not speaking, if you're not saying anything, your body remembers everything that's going on. But also, kids and teenagers during this time of COVID have also potentially experienced anxiety, and so they may act differently. So it may not even be those symptoms, but they may have some things that they may do as acting out behaviors, and it's really anxiety. They're not mad and frustrated and irritated, but it could be that the underlying thing is, hey, life has changed.
Yeah.
Things aren't the same as it was, 8 months ago, and so my life is totally changed as well. So I did have a little bit, maybe talking about a little bit of how children or teens may even respond to stressors, or how they may show anxiety as well. So now, is it just parents with young children on, or are there parents with teens?
Yeah, here, if you guys want to go in the comments, let us know the ages of your kids. I know a few of you, so some of them we have some people who have some kids that are grown. We got some people who have some kids that are younger in here. We got a few different ones. I know mine are, we've got 14 next week, 14, 12, 9, 7, and 2.
Okay, okay. So
So,
I guess with the children and teens, some of the things that may be going on, because I know that children are at home right now, more so with parents, and parents are being teachers, and they're being nurses, and they're,
everything.
running the gamut with got on many hats. Now that COVID has had a lot of parents at home, but there may be some excessive crying or being children being irritated. Also returning back to behaviors that they may have outgrown. So maybe some toileting, accidents or bedwetting, excessive worry or sadness, because of course, if you got the TV on about whatever's going on, they could experience some of that. Unhealthy eating or sleeping habits, wanting to be up or having the nightmares, things like that. I know also, kids having difficulty with being focused with some of the media, learning on the computer, because it's not, it's just something new that being on the computer all the time.
Lacey's got a 12 and 9-year-old, and my older one, he has a cell phone, and he has it so when he is doing stuff, because he's at the age where he's actually like doing small groups and stuff like that, where he's not with her all the time, and he started to get like news flashes across, and I made him take it off, because I noticed a lot more anxiety in him, and he would be like, "Hey mom, did you hear about this, or did you hear about that?" And I'm like, first off, buddy, don't immediately like look at your news source, okay? Don't believe whatever is scrolling across, because we don't know who's reporting that, what station or agency, or even if it is one. I mean, with places like The Onion out, you never know if what you're reading is right.
Is the truth, right?
Yeah. And so I told him, I was like, I'm going to take this off your phone, because if it's not the weather, you don't need to worry about it. And then, Jeanette says, I think back now, went into shock and trauma over the delivery. Yeah, that was something I think as a younger mom too, if you're not fully prepared, that's something you as a mom can be totally, right. And my last one, that was crazy. I tell everybody, there was a big jump between my girl and my latest one. And it was like, I forgot how to baby, like,
oh, wow.
I did. I was like, I do not remember any of this. Like, there were new things. Things had changed in the whole process. And I was like, the videos they made me watch this time, those things I never even thought about. And then I saw him in this movie, and I didn't sleep for 3 days when I got home, because I think I had a lot of what Jeanette was saying, where I was like, I was waking up every 10-15 minutes to check on the baby, like jumping.
Oh yeah, with with some of the things they're talking about. And then I think I was at a couple years ago, I was working before in 2015, I was working for a different organization, and we primarily worked with individuals that had open, it was like an open CPS cases. And so it was big on what term was that, the children having their sleep spaces, like that, not sleeping with parents, and having to be in their own places. And so it's just a lot has changed throughout the years since I said I had my child in like 92. So it's been a lot that has changed with parenting throughout the years, and new ways, and this swaddling now, and all of those different things now. It's so many different techniques.
Well, and I remember like sleeping with your baby wasn't a big thing. And now it's like, nope, they need to be in their own space, and they need to do that. And I remember I was in the hospital, and I was nursing the baby, and I fell asleep with him right there. And a nurse came in and like yelled at me. And I was like, okay, I get it. Part of me was like, I've kept 4 alive so far, but I mean, I'll listen to your rules while I'm here. Like, okay. I'm like, if you think, I was like, did you not just see what I went through? Like, I'm going to doze off for a minute, and he's going to be all right. There's like 3 of you watching me here. Like, he's not slipping off. Like I was going to be like, I mean, if you knew him now too, I mean, there's no way he's letting that booby go. So he was fine. But it's just, they like the fear they instill in you now is a bit, it's stressful. And, like I said, even as a seasoned mom, I literally, like the first week I had my kid home, I called the pediatrician almost every day. She was like, Jesse, stop it. she was like, seriously, this is number 5. Like, what's going on. Like, just leave me alone. And
Calm down, back away from the phone.
Yeah. But it just goes to show, like, in society today, you got COVID, you got all these other things that people are worried about on top of stuff. I mean, and it makes just having a baby on top of that so much crazier.
Yeah, it does. So
I'm super excited for this part, because one of the things I love to do is I love to not just bring problems, but solutions. And you actually have some neat tips for like behavior. I think you had said like behavior, routines, and recognizing emotions and stuff. And I'm super excited to hear about some of these.
Okay, well, I mean, I think because I sent some information.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll take a question as it relates to maybe something that someone wants to know. But one of the things I think having routines is something that is the most important, and this is in my opinion, is that having routines is like a huge benefit for children. It gives them the opportunity to know that you're consistent, that we're consistent parents, that we're going to be there, that the things, especially in the household, is really creating a safe environment and space for your children to learn and grow and just become, able to, to grow and increase. And so routine is one of the things that, me as a parent, that I try to instill every week, whether it was taking a trip to the library, reading every night, or giving that child time. And I know right now during this time of COVID, it's like every day is you have your children and they're available, but really taking some of that time to create a space that they know they're important, even though there's all these things that's going on in the world. Another big thing too is teaching children at a very young age to learn how to recognize emotions. As I know as a child, for me, I always held in emotions, and sometimes we grow up with those like, hey, what are you crying about? Those type of messages.
Yeah.
I think having those messages, they really stunt emotional growth for children. And so being able to teach or to express or to identify emotions is something that's huge, and it helps them as adults. It helps them as young kids to build healthy relationships. And so, and also to communicate their feelings, their emotions, to be able to say, hey, this is what's going on with me. I think, so here's an example. So if a child is crying, they hurt their leg, and they want you to soothe them, if you say, hey, go on, then it's kind of like, okay, so is this okay for me to be hurt, or am I going to be cared for? They talk about when children are infants, if you ignore them, then they'll begin to just want to do things on their own because they're not quite sure if you'll be the one, the parent or the caregiver that is going to care for them. And so they'll begin to withdraw, they'll begin to just kind of do things on their own because they don't know for sure if you are going to respond. And so we want to be able to, teach our children emotions. And there's a lot of, a lot of things online that whether you just draw a body on a piece of paper and just begin to say, hey, when you're mad, when you're mad, or and I'm thinking about the younger kids right now, is that you can say, is there something that you feel in your body? Do you feel it in your tummy, or do you feel it in your face? Do your face get really hot, or all those different things? That's something that you could do that you don't have to pay for. It's like pull out a piece of paper, draw a body, and begin to do that. Also, if you're experiencing an emotion you're happy about, it's like, wow, I was just so happy. And so acknowledging that so that they can see like, oh, that happiness, how they were smiling, their facial expressions shows happiness. And so then they will understand that. So each time, maybe when you're expressing emotions, call it out, call out what emotion it is, and then they'll begin to follow suit and begin to call out how they may be feeling too. So
That's awesome advice. I love that. I mean, I try to do that with my kids. I mean, and there's times where I'm like, I'm just irritated, like, or
right.
I'm super excited, guys, and helping them to recognize that. I am a huge fan of routines. I've talked about it in several lives before, because I think it just, especially now. And I mean, I think
Yeah.
some people get caught up with the word routine because they think that like everybody, like there's this like cookie cutter routine that everybody needs
That's
now.
not.
And it's not. I mean, if you're a third shift parent and your kids are virtual learning, your life is going to look a lot different than maybe a parent that's having to work right now and their kids are virtual learning, or a parent that's working and the kids are going to school. Your life is going to look so much different. So finding that routine that works perfectly for your family is
Right.
really, that's what it's about. It's figuring out what works best for you, your kids, and your family. Don't look at
Mhm.
what Mrs. Jones is doing. And
No.
we all have our perfect version of motherhood, like some people want their kids eating only like all organic, natural trees, living off the land and doing stuff like that. And then there are the moms who are like, I just want my kid to be like a free spirit. And then you have people like, a military family, everybody
Right.
everybody's life is different.
Yeah.
So your routine isn't going to look like everybody else's. And I think
No.
that's like so important for moms to understand, is that you need to find what is your perfect routine for your family, because that's what's going to create stability for that. And they're going to, even when life is crazy, COVID hit,
Yeah.
or things get shut down, they know, well, home is this.
The
It's
safe
my
place.
safe
Right.
space. And
Right.
my ultimate hack, because I say it every time somebody brings up routines, and people are probably gonna get sick of it, but I don't care because it's amazing. And there's always at least one person that's never heard it before. I have 5 kids. It's insane. I'm never going to remember everything that they need to do. And especially when they were doing virtual learning, we made a family routine and then we uploaded it into Alexa. And now we have a Google Home and we uploaded it into that, and they announce everything for us. So
Okay.
I don't have to remember everything. And I found they don't argue with Alexa as much as they do with me.
Well, that's high tech. I don't.
Yeah, I say it and it's like, really, or they ignore me, or it's like there's like a negotiation that happens. But when
Mhm.
Alexa says it, it's just like, oh, Alexa says it's time to do this, and then they just do it. I mean, it's an awesome hack. It's a little bit like upsetting because I'm like, why
What in
does
the world?
yeah,
So
but
you
it
listen to Alexa before you listen to me?
They do too. I should put like all sorts of stuff. I should be like, Alexa says you should do the dishes today. Like, no, and like, yeah, Alexa says get off the computer and go play outside. She actually says that in one of them, but like, and making it fun too, like
Yeah.
having those things, and occasionally we'll switch it up, or in the summer, like Thursdays would be no electronics day, so they knew they would get electronics, and and that was just like our routine, and they got really into that, and then they fought it at first, and then they ended up like leaning into it, and actually we got to the point where they would like it. They one of the kids would go to do something, they'd be like, hey, we're going outside to play. Jeanette says Alexa is my best friend. It does work. Yes, it is.
Look, I got I can't even think of what that was I bought, and I did not even know how to turn it on. So it's like, oh, my son, you can have that. I don't know. I just can't do it.
I should do that as a giveaway one of these times. Maybe you guys would love that. I'll do a giveaway of one. I feel bad too, so I'm sorry because I've said her name like 6 times, and the last time I did that, somebody was like, you just let mine go off like 3 times. I had to shut mine off in the bedroom because when I would say it on the live,
And then yeah,
I would start turning them on for everybody. So sorry if I've turned yours on at all during this. Oh man, but I love it. Well, recognizing emotions, I think that's super important. I love that because it's just again, it's like these things that you're just expected to know, or your kids are expected to know. If we don't teach it to them, they're not going to know. They're not going to recognize it at all.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing too, I mean, when I was working directly with parents, was that sometimes they think kids like automatically supposed to know, but then they don't have a mature adult mind, and so it's kind of like, but wait a second, how do they know that? How do they just automatically know that? And so just teaching some skills would definitely help them along, and to be a little bit more independent, be able to express themselves, and also, have some healthy relationships, especially if they're able to express how they feel, who they,
Yeah.
what's going on with them, is definitely helpful.
So I wanted to go over some things that with your Door of Hope, like the actual workshops that you're going through, because we have some people like Jeanette is actually from Canada. So we have some international people. We have some people that are local, but I want to go over for the people that are local, those courses that or those workshops that you're offering. Those are Saturday mornings.
Yes, they're every Saturday at Mahaly, 2780 Peck Street. And this week we'll be talking about managing unmanageable emotions. So we'll talk about anxiety and anger. Next weekend, ineffective communication. And then next Saturday, someone will be speaking, Kim Starks will be speaking about financial fitness.
Ooh.
And so, that's October 17th. And we'll also have a demonstration with Wanda Lydell at the Kitchen 242. And she does healthy nutrition, cooking in a healthy way. That usually is directly after we're done with the 11 o'clock session. So it's 11 to 1 o'clock, and usually at 1 or 1:30, depending on what time we're done, we go over to Kitchen 242. So that we'll do that on the 17th with Wanda Lydell. And so we just have really 3 more sessions left. It was an 8-week Skills for Life series, but we have 3 more weekends to go. I'm excited. I invite you to come on out. It is free. Everyone can attend. There's really no age limit on it. You can be however old you want to be to attend, and men and women are welcome. Also, I'm doing a drawing.
I know, I'm excited.
Yeah. So I'm doing a drawing for moms who have been listening, or who tunes in to Jesse's broadcast or podcast. And I will be raffling off a twin size comforter for your daughter, your child, and it is elegant. You just go on to Door of Hope CDC on Facebook, like my page, of course. Click on the link that indicates subscribe to the mailing list, Door of Hope's mailing list. So subscribe. You would have to click on that link. What'll come up is a statement about being in the raffle. The raffle will end on Monday. So I'm asking for an email address and a telephone number so I can call you and let you know if you win. But click on the link. And this drawing is for parents who have a daughter that has a twin size bed and they would like a elegant comforter. So,
and I put in the comments the thing. It looks like it. I don't know if it actually tagged you, so I'll go back in and I'll edit it so that it works. And we'll make sure we get it because that is super awesome. I love that. I'm so excited. And then I want to make sure that, if you ever need anything, let me know, because I'm so excited. I love this journey. I love this organization. I love everything about it. Anytime it's dealing with young moms or educating young moms or moms with young kids, I think that is such a vulnerable time for moms in general. And not saying that it's not hard at any age, but just when you don't have that support, or when you don't have that education or that knowledge, it's harder, and it's so amazing that there's people like you out there and organizations like yours that are out there helping to kind of ease that for those moms. So thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for doing
Thank you
that.
for having me.
Oh, I seriously, I'm loving, I love it. I was so excited when you were like, yeah, sure, I'll come on. I was like, yes, yes, yes. I want to make sure that I mention to anybody that if you are ever looking for support and you need it, I always tell people when you feel like you're doing it all, you don't have to do it all alone. I say that every single week, and I think it's really important that moms understand that, because really it seems like you're doing it all, and it can wear you out. You can get burnout, you can get resentful, and it's just important to make sure that you find some sort of a support system.
Yes.
I put in some groups that I am a part of. I've got Work Like a Mother, which is a private group. So we'll go over some things that are a little bit more personal for people. You can join that one, or the more public that you can follow along with what I'm doing here with these lives and like the different videos that I do for A Mom on a Mission in the group A Mom on a Mission. But really, whether it's a friend, whether it's, somebody like Letisa or myself, or a 1-800 number or a group or anything, just please go find that help. Go look for that support. Don't try and tough it out and do it all alone. I know we've got some really strong mamas out there, and you might figure it out eventually, but I'll tell you, when you have a support system, it makes it so much easier. We had some people that were doing some comments earlier that were talking about how awesome having a support system was. And if you have the ability to have that, really honestly, take up on it. I always have my information here. It's been running around the screen the whole time, and I put it in the chat. My email is Jessie@wildjessie.com. Please, if there's something that we've talked about today, or, something that is bothering you, or you want more information about Letisa, or anything that either of us is doing, please email me. You can message me. You can, I make myself available to you guys, because it's so important that you just know that you have that support. Okay. Really, honestly, I can't stress that enough. I feel like I'm always like,
reach out.
Yes.
Don't do it alone. Yeah. Don't do it alone.
That's right. That's right. Well, I want to thank you, everybody who's been on tonight too. Again, if you were live, thank you so much for spending your time with us. If you were on the replay and you go through and you do some questions, please feel free to put your questions in here too. I like to go back through and see if I can answer any of those for you. And I'm sure if there's something that Letisa can help you with, then she can answer that or help you as well. And it's been an awesome night. I'm so excited to have had you. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
I appreciate that.
Well, we will end off on that. And again, if you guys need me, you know where to find me. Okay. I am a mom on a mission, and it's a mother of a mission. And thank you for joining me.